Alright, anyway, that's
flames. One more time, here we go again. Under the lights, we are transcending gravity. Pulse the rhythm like stars, we're never ending. We burn so bright, lately the dawn is getting closer. Come near before it's over, we shine like supernovas. Under the lights, we are transcending gravity. Pulse the rhythm like stars, we're never ending. We burn so bright, lately the dawn is getting closer. Come near before it's over, we shine like supernovas. Shine like supernovas.
Right, we're going to go check in. So where do we park? Are there directions as to where to park and all that?
So you're here for the day. You can just, I think, you can just carry on streets up there, and then you've got places up there to park.
Good. Thank you.
On the edge, shall we touch the flames? Hold your breath and count to 10. Under the lights, we are transcending gravity. Pulse the rhythm like stars, we never ending. We burn so bright, baby, the dawn is getting closer. Come here before it's over. We shine like supernovas, shine like supernovas.
Not exactly much direction as to where you park.
Shine like supernovas.
Excuse me? Where's the bike parking? Yeah, can we park?
parking is inside. You have a badge. Okay, you go to inside.
Yeah. Didn't feel very good, did it? I think I might be a bit lost.
What are you looking for, my love?
I just want to get parked, really.
You want to get parked? Sorry,
Yeah.
I think they can park you up down there.
All right, thanks, love. Cheers. Just want to be able to park my bike up.
Where you park?
Just want to park, yes. In here? Yeah? Oh, that doesn't seem very noisy, does it? Here we are. We are at the ABR. Been very kindly offered hospitality. There's a queue for the test ride bikes. It's a big event. Let me take you around in a bit. Let me talk a bit whilst I give you a quick guided tour of the festival from the 360 camera. So, I'm a festival version, at least as far as the ABR is concerned. I've been to many other types of festivals, but so why did I actually go? Well, the principal reason is to form more connections with other bikers, with other BSA riders, and also for my own good. There's an old theory by a chap called Maslow, in which the peak of it is self-actualization. And for me, the act of riding more than 200 miles, organising a journey, an event, actually made me feel a lot better. So those are the reasons why.
Yeah, I'm a happy bunny.
And also fun, you know, to actually enjoy yourself, which is, it's all about riding a bike. First off, props to BSA for their excellent hospitality. I think everybody needed a base there, because if you didn't have a base, you'd be struggling to find where to put your kit, you know, where to get refreshments, because it was a very hot day, and I intentionally did not ride any bikes whilst there. There were a few I try to do that next time, but one of the problems was, unless you turned up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, you're not going to actually get some of those test rides. So I would recommend online booking of test rides, and then it's all done and dusted. When you get there, you just get into your allocated slot. Jobs are good 'un. So there's a suggestion for you. But yes, the organisation was a little bit lacking in places this year, has been remarked in several other places. So you'll just see on my entry, I spoke to 4 different security guards and not one of them had a clue. So yes, some negatives. As a celiac, food choices were a bit limited, although what I had was good. Loos were definitely not placed in the most suitable areas. And also I found that there was a lack of quiet areas, and perhaps one final conclusion is maybe they've expanded the festival slightly too much, and the maps to find things were quite inaccurate, so I took a lot of time to find things that I should have done more quickly. Having said that, I had a fantastic day, and I've already booked my next year's ticket, but I'm going to be doing the whole thing, and I'll hopefully be a bit more organised myself. But yeah, thanks for watching. Now over to Ryan F9.
Project in particular, I wonder what that could be. Gosh, I wonder. You've ridden around the world. Yeah, so you, for those you, well, you all know now, but for those of you who weren't listening a few seconds ago, you set out to break a record, didn't you? Which was a bit of a departure for Fortnite in terms of the content you create. So can you explain to people exactly what you did, what the plan was, and why you decided to do it?
Yeah, it was a massive departure. If you've noticed that I've been on the channel less over the last year, it's because I've been working on this project. And it's a very big one. So we shot the whole thing as a dark comedy. It's a feature length. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be in theaters and in streaming services, which we're very excited about. The goal was to break the circumnavigation record, which is the fastest time around the world by car, boat, or motorcycle. It's always been done on motorcycles because of their ability to get through traffic. It was set last in 2005 by Nick Sanders, who's also here. And is a hero of mine for the endurance rides that he's done. And we wanted to do the record in the simplest way possible so that it would be repeatable. Because we really don't care too much about getting the record or not. It was about making an awesome movie and trying to encourage people to get out there and do it themselves if they want to.
Thanks, Ryan. Checks in the post, of course. But it's all about the bikes and all the big manufacturers there, including Ducati. And it's quite a spectacle to see them all lined up. And yes, it's not just ATV bikes. All bikes are adventure bikes. People have ridden around the world on scooters, on all sorts of things, trikes, sidecars, you name it. So it is good to see a lineup of a good range of bikes from Ducati, all getting revved up for that moment when they take the ride. Bear in mind, I've been told that the ride isn't the longest one, so you're not going to get a full appreciation of the bike from that, but I imagine you could ride a Ducati. Anyway, over to the bikes.
There they go.
And then you could wander over to the Ducati stand and sit on the bike of your choice, which is great. But then you had to wait a very long time to actually get a test ride. Now, there was one other major manufacturer there whose most popular bike I just can't remember the name of. Hey, don't worry, it'll come to me at some point during this video. Anyway, on to other matters. In the meantime, bikes kept rolling in and out, throwing up huge clouds of dust which were reduced by watering every now and then. The net result was everything was covered in muck at the end of the day, but that's how it should be. There were lots of manufacturers, all the big ones, BMW themselves, the big hunanis of the adventure bike world, but to be quite honest, that's too big for anybody, isn't it? And Honda, of course, with their full range, including cruisers and customs there. Yeah, really good display. And you could also try some of the more recent manufacturers, Vodes and MotoGB, with some scooters and so forth. But I really can't buy a bike called the Napoleon Bob Bender. Great bike, horrible name. Yes, you could even test drive in the quad bikes. Amazing things, but once you'd done your test riding or were pretty knackered, it was time to take a rest in one of the covered areas, and in this one there were a few hot and sweaty looking people. It was getting really warm by now, and still the bars were not open. So these are not people overcome by alcohol, these are people who've just had a hot morning, sticky morning, so well deserved rest time for them. But for other people, There was no chance of any resting. My base for the day was the BSA Stand, where I have to say we were treated very well. It was a constant cycle, though, for the staff of signing people up for test rides, briefing the guys, getting the machines prepared, and then taking them out for that test ride. And then once that was done, bringing them back in again and making sure everything was all safe. I think they said they'd done over 100 test rides, and bear in mind they were there for 3 days doing that. After all that, there was plenty of technical advice and support on hand. There was some additional technical information from George Milburn of Tech Bike Parts, talking about his new BSA Scrambler build. And all the BSA riders who'd come in for the day were treated to lunch by BSA, and I have to say that was exceptional. As a celiac, I was given really good treatment, so thanks to BSA for working really hard at building a community. One more thing before we leave the BSA Stand is I must give a big nod to the Royal Ally scooters. Despite their diminutive size, they drew a huge amount of attention, and cute to the extreme. So, Luke, please give me one as a press bike and let me do a proper review. Moving out to the wider festival, there's a gigantic festival stage, an even bigger bar where you could hear all sorts of music, also small intimate bars. I then came across this bunch of reprobates who I proceeded to be spending a couple of hours with, and also Chris of Slow Rider fame was there. He didn't look amused, did he? But yeah, we had a great bit of banter. It was good fun. However, at the end of that, I think something up with Steve, because he did start repeating himself. Never mind, I'm sure he felt better once he got to see Norley. Anyway, moving back out into the festival, I bumped into my old friend Damon Lanson, whom I went to India with many years ago, proper adventure biking that. And then I happened to also bump into Mark Travels, who was showing around his extraordinary electric motorcycle, which seemed to have no back wheel or no inside to it. Very peculiar, however, very interesting. He was very Germanic, didn't really understand what he was saying. And so, as the evening fireball was lit and I turned my back on the festival, I reflected on a very long day which had started at 5 a.m. And I'd had a great time, and I certainly will be back next year. But in order to help me do that, the best thing you can do watching this video is to hit the like button. Please subscribe, and that really helps this channel to deliver the kind of content that you want to watch, and puts us in front of the YouTube algorithm to do that. And so we depart from the ABR 2025. I've had a great day, very tiring, very busy, learned lots of lessons, gained lots of things, a few surprises, and the odd disappointment, but really on balance, a lot of positives, and some great people here, great bikes. Not sure I'm ever going to be a typical quote-unquote adventure bike rider. I have my own adventures, and I've got one planned for next year. I'll fill you in on that another time. But just for now, heading back home to the B&B tonight for a nice couple of ciders, some snacks, watch Glastonbury, I think. Might go to the pub. But I am Andy, Captain Clumsy, Cornish Motorcycle Diaries, and I will hopefully see you guys in the next one. Bye bye for now.